This tutorial is for 5th grade, Module 6, Lesson 7. In Lesson 7, we're going to look at patterns that form on the coordinate plane. The first direction says to complete the chart and then plot the points on the coordinate plane below. You can see in my chart that I have a listing of x coordinates and y coordinates. In the third column, we're going to put those coordinates together in ordered pair fashion, meaning with the parentheses, and the coordinates are separated by the comma. So here I have an x-coordinate of 2 and a y-coordinate of 3. The ordered pair would be 2, 3, surrounded by parentheses. The next one would be 4, 5, and then I have 6, 7. The next step is to plot each of these points on the coordinate plane. I'm going to mark each axis. There's my y-axis, and there's my x-axis. So to plot 0, 1, I would start at the origin. I'm not going to travel over on the x-axis because my x-coordinate is 0. So I'm going to stay at 0 and move up 1 unit and put a point to represent 0, 1. The next point is at 2, 3. Start at the origin, move over 2, up 3, and put a point there. The next ordered pair is 4, 5. I'll start at the origin, go over 4, up 5, place a point there. And my last ordered pair is 6, 7. I'll move over 6 and up 7, and I'll place a point there. So now I have all 4 of my points plotted. The next direction says to use a straight edge to draw a line connecting these points. And here's my line running through all 4 of those points. The next question says write a rule showing the relationship between the x and y coordinates of the points on the lines. We're going to go back up to our chart and we're going to look at the pattern between the numbers. So if I look at my x-coordinate, how it compares to my y-coordinate. In each case, the y-coordinate is 1 more than the x-coordinate. So I can write that in words. I can say that y is 1 more than x, or I can write it as an equation. I can say that y is equal to 1 plus x. So there's a rule telling me the relationship between the x and y coordinates. To name 2 other points on this line, I can go about it a couple different ways. First, I could follow that line until I see where it crosses exactly at another intersection, like right here. The coordinates for that point would be 8. I move over from the origin 8 and up 9. So I can say 8, 9. And again, that follows the rule that the y-coordinate is 1 more than the x-coordinate. I could also write a point just by following the rule. So for example, if I randomly chose 3 for my x-coordinate, then the y would have to be 4, because 4 is 1 more than 3. Let's look on the plane and see if that is true. If I go over 3 and up 4, you see that the line does go through that point, so that is a true coordinate for this plane. Here's another example. We're going to start the same way by looking at our chart and writing the order pairs that match the x and y coordinates. So I'll have 1/2 and 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 1/2, and 3, 2, and 4. Now I'll go ahead and plot each of these points on the coordinate plane. I have my y-axis and my x-axis. The first point will be at 1/2, 1. Start at my origin, move over 1/2 and up 1, mark a point. Then I'll plot 1, 2, move over 1, up 2, mark that point. Then I'll go to 1 and 1/2, 3. So I'll move over 1 and 1/2, up to the 3, mark that point, and then over 2, up 4. So over 2, up 4, and there's all 4 of my points. The next direction says to use a straight edge to draw a line connecting these points. So I'll go ahead and do that. And here's my line connecting those points. Question B says, write a rule showing the relationship between the x and y coordinates. We'll go back to our table. For my first ordered pair, I went from 1/2 to 1. The second one went from 1 to 2. Then I went from 1.5 to 3. And in the last one, I went from 2 to 4. The pattern that I see here is that my y coordinate is twice as much as my x coordinate. 2 times 1/2 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 and 1/2 times 2 is 3. And 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm taking my x coordinate and doubling it to get my y coordinate. So we can write that in words. So I can say y is double x, or I can write it as an equation. We could say y is equal to 2 times x. Now we're going to name two other points on this line. Again, I can just look at the plane and see where the line crosses an intersection, like right here, and that would tell me that I have a point at 2.5, meaning if I start at the origin, move over 2.5, and move up to the 5, that would give me a point on the line. And that follows the pattern. 2 times 2.5 is 5. I can also plot a point just following the pattern. For example, if my x-coordinate were 3, I could just double that and show that my y-coordinate is 6. And let's see if that holds true. If I start at the origin, move over 3, follow it all the way up, the line would run through that point on 6. So that is a true ordered pair for this rule as well.